Shalom lekulam, and welcome to the meditation for the day of Shavuot, the day of the receiving of the Torah, the giving of the Torah. The holiday of Shavuot represents or symbolizes the reception or the receiving of the upper light in our lives. This is a moment when everybody feels the upper world. They feel and sense eternity and perfection. This contact with the upper force, with the upper realm, is something that is a gift given to us that we can use for our own benefit and the benefit of others. This is something that we can do by utilizing the light that we receive as a force of love and bestowal in order to help on the perfection of humanity. This is the mission of the people of Israel. Israel meaning Yashar El, directly to God, directly to El, God. And this is the reason why they receive the Torah at Mount Sinai. Torah comes from two words, from the word or and the word Hora'ah, which means instruction. Or is light and Hora'ah is instruction. So at that moment of the receiving of the Torah, the children of Israel were receiving the instruction from the light. They were connecting to this light that was going to help them develop this sense of love and bestowal. The Kabbalists tell us that this receiving of the Torah happened only when the whole of Israel united as one man with one heart. And they started practicing the rule of loving your neighbor as yourself. We can do the same thing in the day of Shavuot as we connect with this force, the upper force, and as we become one with each other and practicing this love for our neighbor as we love ourselves. In Leviticus chapter 23, verses 16 and 17 says, "You shall count until the day after the 7th week." This means after the counting of the Omer, which is 49 days, the 50th day on which you shall bring a new meal offering to the Lord. From your dwelling places you shall bring bread. Set aside 2 loaves made from 2/10 of an ephah. So this is how the story about Shavuot starts. It starts in the Torah as a commandment that came directly from the Creator to participate in this day by bringing some offerings to the tabernacle and later to the temple. The 50 days, or the 50th day, or the 50 days, they represent the level of Bina. Bina represents bestowal. Bina has a counterpart, and this counterpart is below, and is called Malchut. Malchut has the characteristic of reception. There are 7 sephirot on what we call serampin. These are the sphere or sephirot that are between Malchut and Bina. And they act as an intermediary between these levels. These 7 levels from Malchut to Chesed, and from Chesed to Malchut, meaning Serampi and Malchut together, there's 7 sephirot. Multiplied by 7 give us the 49 days of the counting of the Omer, and the 50th, which is the day of Shavuot, is Bina. So we, in the counting of the Omer, start from Chesed all the way to Malchut the Malchut, and then on the 50th day, we have a complete vessel where we can receive the light from Bina. So what we're saying is that we're receiving the Torah, the instruction of the light from Bina, from this part of creation that represents bestowal, love. During this night, Kabbalists do a tikkun. Tikkun means amending, a correction. It's called Tikkun Leil Shavuot. And this is a spiritual practice that we do physically, but represents a spiritual state in which the darkness of the ego is revealed, and then we require this light of the Torah to manifest on us. And we do this by knowing that, as in Deuteronomy 4, chapter 4, verse 35 says, that there's no one else besides Him, besides the Creator, that we cannot go forward with our own correction if we don't acknowledge that we cannot do this by our egoistic nature, but we have to do it by developing this altruistic nature within us, within ourselves, that comes from the light of Bina. This darkness that comes from the ego is basically that we acknowledge that we're evil and that we're gonna start having the first step to start our spiritual correction. Also, this is represented by Mount Sinai, in which the name of the mount where the Torah was revealed, which is Sinai, comes from the word in Hebrew for hate, which is sinat. So in order for us to connect to the light, we need to connect above our ego and above our hate, or hate without reason in some cases, right? And in that way, we can connect to that light and bring about this redemption of our own soul, and thus the redemption of the whole world. Also, this night of Shavuot, Kabbalists read from the book of Zohar, a section that is called the Night of the Bride. In the Zohar, we're gonna see that Rav Shimon Bar Yochai is described as being sitting and studying on the night of the bride, meaning Shavuot. And this is in a time where the energy of the bride comes together with that of the male counterpart. The night where the male and female aspects of creation unite. We learn from the Zohar that this is a night when people need to come together at this time and connect to this great revelation of the Torah in order to become the bride that needs to unite with the husband. We, as human beings, we are a soul, one soul, and we are receivers of the light. As we are receivers, we become this female counterpart of the male counterpart, which is the upper realm. The bride is this connection that we feel in the group of people that are practicing this kind of tikkun, or connection, or correction this night. Malchut represents a Minyan, which means at least 10 men. It says 10 men because it represents the 10th sphere of the tree of life, coming together as one system, as one soul. This night of Shavuot, the whole world might not be connecting to this light. They might not know that the gates are open for them to connect to this light of correction and to start becoming partners of the upper force. But those who connect to this light in the night of Shavuot are the first soul of the soul of humanity that are waking up little by little, those who are in slumber. This is why those who perform these acts of studying, meditating, reading the Zohar during the night of Shavuot are called the sons of the king's palace. And with this, let's start the meditation. And after the meditation, let's hear from the book of Zohar, the night of the bride.
Rabbi Shimon was sitting and studying the Torah on the night when the bride, Malchut, unites with her husband, Zeranpin. And all the friends present in the bridal chamber on that night, the eve of the holiday of Shavuot, Pentecost, must stand together with the bridegroom under the huppah, wedding canopy, and be with him this whole night, and rejoice with him in the corrections of the bride, meaning, study the Torah, then prophets, then holy scriptures, and finally the wisdom, for these corrections are the bride's adornments. And the bride receives corrections, adorns herself with them, and rejoices with them all of that night. And on the next day, on the holiday of Shavuot, she only comes to the huppah together with them. And her friends, who studied the Torah all night long, are called the sons of the huppah. And as she approaches the huppah, the Creator asks about them, blesses and adorns them with the bride's adornments. Happy are those who merit this. This is why Rabbi Shimon and all of his friends stayed up that night, and each of them renewed the Torah again and again. Rabbi Shimon was joyous, and so were his friends. Rabbi Shimon said to them, "My sons, how blessed is your lot, for it is you who shall accompany the bride tomorrow to the huppah, for all those who correct her and rejoice in her this night shall have their names recorded in the book of remembrance. And the Creator shall bless them with 70 blessings and adornments of crowns of the upper world." Rabbi Shimon opened and said, "The heavens declare the Creator's greatness. I have already explained this, but when the bride awakens to enter the huppah on the following day, with all the friends who rejoiced with her through that night, she rejoices with them, corrects herself and shines with her adornments. And on the following day, a multitude of masses, hosts, and legions join her. And she, together with all these masses, hosts and legions, awaits all those who corrected her by studying the Torah on that night. This is so because Zeranpin unites with Malchut, and she sees her husband, and it is said, the heavens declare the Creator's greatness. The heavens alludes to the bridegroom, Zeranpin, who enters the huppah. The heavens declare, i.e., shine, like the luminescence of a sapphire, upon the entire Malchut, from end to end. The Creator's glory equals El, is the bride, Malchut, called El, as it is written, El rages each day. She is called El on all the days of the year. And now, on the holiday of Shavuot, when she already entered the huppah, she is called greatness and she is called El, greatest of the great, luminescent out of the luminescent, dominion over dominions, the hour when the heaven, Zeranpin, enters the huppah and shines upon Malchut. All of her friends, who corrected her by studying the Torah, are known by their names, as it is said, the heavens declare the work of his hands. The work of his hands refers to the members of this covenant, called the work of his hands. As you say, confirm for us the work of our hands, which is the mark of the covenant, imprinted on man's body. Rabbi Hamdan Asaba then said as follows, do not let your mouth cause your body to sin, i.e., one must not allow his mouth to get close to evil and be the cause of sin for the sacred flesh, which bears the mark of the holy covenant with the Creator. If he does so, he shall be dragged to hell. And the ruler of hell, called Dome, stands at the gates of hell with hundreds of thousands of angels, but he is forbidden to approach those who have kept the holy covenant in this world. When this happened to King David, fear enveloped him. Right then, Dome ascended before the Creator, and said, Master of the world, it says in the Torah, Vayikra, 20:10, and the man that commits adultery with another man's wife. David broke his covenant, is it not so? The Creator replied to him, David is righteous, and his holy covenant remains pure, for it is known to me that Bathsheba was destined for him since the creation of the world. Dome said to him, Master of the world, what is revealed to you is concealed from him. The Creator answered, Whatever David did was done with my permission. For no man goes to war without first giving his wife a get, document of divorce. Dome then said, But if this is so, David should have waited 3 months, which he did not. The Creator replied, This extension is only necessary to make certain that the woman is not pregnant from her previous husband. But it is known to me that Uriah never went near her, for my name is imprinted in him as testimony. Indeed, Uriah is or Aya, the Creator's light, though it is written Uriahu is equal to or, plus, I, plus, A, plus, Hu, Yod, Hey, Vav, without the last Hey, Malchut, which proves that he did not use Malchut. Dome said to him, Master of the world, this is exactly what I have said. If you knew that Uriah had never laid with her, then who revealed it to David? He should have waited 3 months. And if you will say that David knew that Uriah had never laid with her, why did he send Uriah to his wife, saying, Go down to your house, and wash your feet? He replied to him, Of course, David did not know, but he waited more than 3 months, as 4 months had passed. As we have learned, on the 15th day of Nisan, David ordered all the people of Israel to prepare for war, Yoav, on 7th day of Nisan. They conquered the lands of Moab and remained there for 4 months, until he went to Bat Sheva in the month of Elul. And on Yom Kippur, the Creator forgave him his sin. But there are those who say that David dispatched his orders on the 7th day of Adar, the troops assembled on the 15th day of Iyar, he went to Bat Sheva on the 15th day of Elul, and on Yom Kippur the Creator forgave him and spared him from death at the hands of the angel Dom. Dom said, Master of the world, I have none the less one claim against him. Why did he open his mouth and say, The Lord is righteous, for a mortal does so, thus condemning himself to death? Hence, I have the power to bring death upon him. The Creator replied to him, You are not allowed to bring death upon him, for he has repented and confessed, I have sinned before the Creator, even though he did not sin. But he did sin in one matter, the killing of Uriah. I have recorded his punishment, and he had received it. Then Dom immediately gave up his complaints, and returned, despondent, to his place. And David said to this, Were it not for the Creator's help, Dom had nearly claimed my soul. Were it not for the Creator's help means had the Creator not been my guard and guide against the angel Dom. Nearly means that only the distance as thin as a thread remained for Dom to drag my soul to hell. Therefore, man should be careful not to say what David said, for one cannot say to the angel Dom that it was an error, Kohelet, 5-5, as it was with David, when the Creator won the dispute against Dom.
Why should the Creator be angry over your word, Kohelet, 5-5, i.e., for what you have said? Destroyed the work of your hands, Kohelet, 5-5, i.e., the sacred flesh, the holy covenant, which you have broken, and are therefore to be dragged to hell by the angel Dom.
Thus, the heavens declare the work of his hands. These are the friends who have united in the bride, Malchut, by studying the Torah on the night of the holiday of Shavuot. They are all participants of the covenant with her, and are called the work of his hands. And she praises and notes each and every one of them. What is heaven, firmament? It is the firmament, where the sun, the moon, the stars, and the zodiac are located. This firmament is called the Book of Remembrance, and it declares and records them, so they shall become the sons of his palace, and he will fulfill all their desires. Day after day brings Omer, a sheaf. The holy day out of those days, Sfirat, of the king, Zeranpin, praises the friends, who study the Torah on the night of Shavuot. They say to each other, Day after day shall bring a sheaf, and praise it. And the words night after night refer to all the degrees, Sfirat of Malchut, that reign in the night, praise one another by each receiving from a friend, from another Sephirah. And the state of complete perfection makes them beloved friends. And since out of them heavens were created, who resides there? He returned and said, There is a shelter for the sun in them. This is the holy sun, called Zeranpin, and it dwells and resides there, and adorns itself with them. Since Zeranpin resides in those firmaments and clothes in them, he emerges like a bridegroom out of his wedding canopy, and rejoices and races along these firmaments, and exits them and enters, and races toward a tower in a different place. He emerges from one end of heaven, from the upper world, from the highest place, from Bina. And his season, where is it?
It is the opposite place below, i.e., Malchut, which is the year's season that forms all the ends and binds everything, from heaven to this firmament.
There is nothing hidden on account of the year's season and the phase of the sun that revolves in all directions.
And there is no concealment, i.e., not a single supernal degree is hidden from him, for all were bound together and every one appeared before him, and none could be concealed from him.
Thanks to him and thanks to them he returned to them, to the friends, in the phase of complete return and correction. All this year and all this time is for the Torah, to study it, as it is written, the Creator's Torah is perfect. The word Ha-va-yah is written 6 times, and there are 6 verses from the heavens declare and until the Creator's Torah is perfect, Tehillim, 19-2-8. And this is the secret of the word Bereshit, which consists of 6 letters. The Creator created the, heavens and the earth, 6 words in all. The other sources of the verse from the Creator's Torah is perfect and until they are better than gold, Tehillim, 19-2-8, correspond to the 6 utterances of the name Ha-va-yah in them. The sources from the heavens declare through the Creator's Torah is perfect are for the 6 letters in the word Bereshit, whereas the 6 names are for the 6 words from the Creator created through the heavens and the earth. As they were sitting and talking, Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon, entered. He said to them, Certainly, the face of the Shekhinah has come, hence I called you Nil, Nai, face plus El, Creator equals the Creator's face, item 119, for you have seen the Shekhinah face to face. And now that you have attained Beniyahu ben Yehoiada, it certainly refers to Atik, the Sephirah of Keter, just as everything else that occurred afterwards, as it is written in the Torah, and he slew the Egyptian. And he who is concealed from all, is Atik.
The words, "he slew the Egyptian" are explained in another place, i.e., at a different degree, in a different way.
He opened and said, "He slew the Egyptian, a man of good stature, 5 cubits high." All of this refers to the same secret. This Egyptian is the one who is well known and is described as very great in the land of Egypt in the eyes of the Jew, for he is great and honored, as that old man had already explained. This case was examined at the divine assembly. A prominent man and a man of good stature are the same, as they constitute Shabbat in the bounds of Shabbat. As it is written, "You shall measure it from outside the city." It is also written, "You shall not impede limitations in measure." Hence, he was a man of good stature. Precisely such, from one end of the world to the other. Such is he, Adam, the first man. And should you disagree, referring to the written 5 cubits, know that these 5 cubits extend from one end of the world to the other. It is, as is written, like a weaver's beam, Shemuel 1:17-7, as the divine staff, Shemot 4:20, that was in his hand, which reveals by the secret name, light, confirmed in it by the light of the letter combinations that Betzalel and his disciples engraved, called weaving, as is written, "He filled them and others, and bound them." And that staff, within it shone a secret name, inscribed on all its sides by the light of the sages, who confirmed the secret name in 42 properties. And the rest of what is written from here onward is similar to what the old man had already explained. Happy is his lot. Be seated, dear friends. Be seated and let us renew the correction of the bride on this night, for whomever joins her on this night shall be guarded above and below in the coming year. And this year shall pass over him in peace. Such people are described in the verse, "The angel of the Lord stands round those that fear him, and delivers them." Oh, taste and see that the Creator is good. Tehillim 34:8-9.